question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Wednesday night. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 183 of the Throwdown, where we celebrate the art and sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt, and today we are throwing down with a Texas-based wrestler, CJ Flores. CJ is making a big splash on the Texas scene, and being a native Texan myself and kind of growing up on the old world class and Southwest Championship Wrestling, I've got a soft spot for Texas wrestling. So how you doing tonight, CJ?
Been blessed, man. Thank you for having me on your show. It's quite an honor, actually. So thank you for having me, man.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. That contains all or at least most of CJ's social media accounts along with mine. So do us a favor. If you aren't a follower or subscriber, please take the time to go to each of our platforms and do so. It definitely helps both of us. And any questions or comments that you guys have, just throw them in the chat and we'll either handle them as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first and truly the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
For the most part, I started back in early 2023 because I was part of this other company that would, showcase a talent that hasn't been shown. So, or as they call a backyard scene. So I was fortunate enough to get some kind of time on camera inside the ring, but I also started my official training in that year too. So around 2023, early 2023, I started my official journey into the wrestling business.
Gotcha. So who actually trained you?
First off, I originally started under the teachings of Lowrider out in Houston. But then I transitioned to the Lucha Baddie Miranda Alizé, and of course Nixon Noel. Basically, some well-respected names in the Houston area. And of course, gotcha. Nixon Noel was formerly known as Tegan Knox in WWE.
Yes. So, in the early stages of your wrestling training, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of professional wrestling for you to kind of wrap your mind and body around?
It was honestly, it's the physical aspects because I'm a heavy set guy. So growing up, I was always a big guy. So I can never really, I would get gassed out a little too quickly. But other than that, the fundamentals and actually learning the basics and just learning the overall, the trade pretty much to get into professional wrestling has been not only challenging, but also fulfilling because I've always wanted to learn the sport. I've always wanted to try and get better. And fortunately enough, at my school, the Evolution Dojo, I was able to pick up as I go. And, it's definitely been an experience. I've been blessed the fact that I was able to do all this. So really, it's so much more, and it's kind of bad on my part, but the cardio really is like the more challenging because I'm a heavy set guy. But and then they'll say, "Oh, well, you should change your eating habits, change your diet," which of course is true. So, but I'm willing to admit that the physical aspect is kind of like more challenging for me. I mean, I got the muscle aspect. I mean, I work out every single time. So, but other than that, it's been like it. I love a good challenge, pretty much.
Gotcha. So, coming into professional wrestling, did you come in with an athletic background? Had you done other types of sports? Had you done any martial arts? Any of that kind of thing in your background?
So yes, I have always been a sports kid. I did soccer, basketball, baseball, but mostly the sport that I got into was football. I mean, again, big guy, so I was being the offensive lineman, defensive lineman, like I was always on the front lines. But unfortunately, junior year, I suffered an injury that carried over to my senior year. I tore my ACL and meniscus. So.
Mm,
Um, Unfortunately, I couldn't play my senior year, and I was sad about that because I loved football at the time. So being able to be on the field, play, and just hitting people was just fun. And not being able to play senior year kind of really got to me. And because I really worked hard to get back into it. Like I went to physical therapy so many times. I wanted to get better. I wanted to get back on the field, but unfortunately, I got benched, so I never really got to play. And then I was sad for a while, and then I did some Krav Maga, mixed martial arts, um, Taekwondo, like basic stuff, just to get me by. But then that was virtually the end of it because I did music for about 10 years, and then I eventually got myself back, and I got myself into the ring, and the rest is history.
gotcha, gotcha. You mentioned that you did music.
Yes.
What are you a musician, a singer? What?
I did play guitar for a good while. I did
Hmm.
play piano, but mostly it was hip hop and rap, music rapper. So I don't know if you can tell from this angle, but I have a microphone on my left arm.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Hip hop and rap for a good while. I would self produce, self edit, like everything I did on my own. I didn't go to any studio because I made one in my own room. So I was able to do music for a while, do shows, open up for big names, and then that was basically it. Like I was a music guy for a while.
Gotcha. The reason I was bringing that up is when I first got started doing live streaming, which was actually next month will actually be 2 years.
Hmm.
The first 6 months or so, I was doing a similar type of show, but actually having conversations with unsigned bands. I'm a hobbyist musician myself. I'm a bass guitarist and rhythm guitarist.
Oh, okay.
Um, so music and wrestling are my two big passions.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's always cool getting the chance to talk to somebody that's kind of walked in both worlds,
Of course.
so to speak.
And I play bass guitar too. So
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I'm looking over at my guitars right now. I've got a 5-string Ibanez bass that's my baby. I just love that guitar.
I have
So
a Diamondback bass, 4 string.
nice, nice. So I'm presuming that you've been at least a fan of professional wrestling the majority of your life. Is
Oh
that
yes,
pretty accurate?
very
Um,
accurate. My very first time watching wrestling was WrestleMania 23, the very first ever pay per view I watched, and ever since then I got hooked. I went from watching that to watching older Raw to WCW, WWF, like all like the old school until the to the modern day, pretty much.
Gotcha. So, what would you say is your actual earliest wrestling related memory? What is the earliest thing you remember uh, actually seeing?
Oh, where do I begin? There was the Monday Night Raw. I was in. I was behind the commentators table. This is back when Jerry the King Lawler and Michael Cole were the commentators.
Oh yeah,
Me and my cousin went to go watch front row, and that was a fun time. Then we went to a live event out in Beaumont. I was near the entrance ramp, so when they're walking, I'm right here. So and another one, actually, my favorite one was WrestleMania 25 when they came to Houston. That was definitely a fun memory.
gotcha. So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
So again, I was in music, so I like recording music, editing, or producing, as they say.
Mhm.
I like playing my guitars, like I have up here with me. I also play video games on PS5 and PC. I live stream on Twitch and Kick. Um, I like to edit videos either on my phone or on my computer. Um, I'm really good at graphic design as well. Um, Traveling. Man, that's the fun part is traveling. Um, what else? And then more recently, or not so recently, I work on cars, so that's been like another thing I do as well. Um, I like posting wrestling content on my Instagram and TikTok, and virtually I keep myself busy. I'm a jack of all trades, pretty much.
Gotcha. So, we're mostly a wrestling related show, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture, and I'm always looking for recommendations.
Mhm.
So I always ask, are you by any chance watching or listening to anything really cool right now?
At the moment, not really, only because like wrestling takes up a lot of my time. So I'm virtually either at the gym or studying up on my craft. Um, yeah, I just keep to myself majority of the time. I really don't. I don't actively look for anything that's popping right now. I mean, I should be because I used to do music. So, but at the moment, I haven't really caught anything mostly.
Gotcha. So, another outside of wrestling question, and that is outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
So outside of wrestling,
Yeah.
um, outside of wrestling, I would say Eminem because his music really inspired me and his music inspired me to do music to keep because he had always this thing to never give up, to keep going. Um, don't let negativity drive you down. To virtually persevere pretty much, and then there's honestly like my mom, my dad, and they are both successful in their own rights. All my friends who dabble in Twitch and music, they push me to do better and vice versa. Like basically, it's a never-ending cycle. Like I push you, you push me, pretty much.
Gotcha. So you had mentioned that you're located in South Texas.
Yes.
What would you say is your favorite thing about South Texas?
Uh, there's I mean, I would unfortunately say there's not really much that goes down here really besides like Corpus Christi or down the valley, but I would, like I said, mostly it's Corpus. I go there a lot too. I'm by the water. My family's there, so um, it's not really much a favorite thing to do. I'm always on the move, so
Hmm.
I'm never in one spot completely. I'm either here, I'm either at home or in at work, or I go to Corpus, I go to Houston, I go to San Antonio. Like I never stay in one particular spot because I feel inspired whenever I see something new. Like I try next year, I'm gonna try to do stateside where I go to Florida, New York, California again. So I'm trying to like basically branch out instead of staying in one particular spot.
Gotcha. You know, I remember going to Corpus Christi as a kid, and the thing that really impressed me as a little kid was how, at least from my perspective, how tame the seagulls were. The seagulls would like come up and eat out of your hand
Yeah,
if you held bread. And I've lived and been in other coastal places, and the seagulls are not like that.
yeah,
That there's something different about the seagulls in Corpus.
yeah. That's definitely different.
So, you know, they say that the best wrestling personas are usually kind of yourself turned up to 11.
Mhm.
So, kind of tell us about in ring CJ Flores and sort of compare and contrast him with everyday you.
So originally, I was the tank CJ Renegade. I was originally him until I changed everything. Um, Honestly, the tank is more outgoing and more explosive than everyday CJ. I'm like honestly, I'm a calm dude. I'm non-confrontational at times. I'm more chill when I'm not in the ring. When I'm in ring, obviously that's all gone. I'm basically a
Right.
whole different person. But outside, I'm chill. I don't really like. I'm outgoing, but not really outgoing. Like I'm in the mix of the two. Like I'll go out there and introduce myself, but really I'm just here. I'm more calm. I'm more collected. Um, the tank in the ring is more explosive, more impactful. Will get up in your face and tell he'll basically it's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing, where it's like a good guy, bad guy type of thing, or basically it's a split personality, pretty much.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, you know, I had noticed that, you know, between when we kind of set this up and now, you know, you seem to sort of make the change from CJ Renegade to CJ Flores. Was there a reason for the change? You had mentioned that a lot of stuff just changed.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too much into it because I'm not trying to spoil the surprise for what's going on. That's going to happen next year. I will say though, a lot of stuff has kind of altered my vision on certain things. It kind of
Okay.
made me change my outlook on certain people, on certain places. Like definitely, it does like a complete change on everything I used to see is now different now. So next year, it's all like everything that you used to know about me is just changed up.
Nice, nice. So tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts? Tell us about the first one.
So my very first official match was a 3-on-3 match. It was with me, Big J Bishop, Diego de la Cruz versus Elijah Cobra Aragon at Flamistar. Um, I was kind of added last minute. It's like they always say cars subject to change, and
Right.
fortunately, thankfully, I had the opportunity to get in the ring and learn from the best. Um, I did come up into this match with high hope, and of course, I knew I was going to get my ass kicked. So I was just ready for the worst, and then sure enough, I was able to handle myself. I was able to listen. Um, I was just able to survive. That was one thing. Um, and then thankfully, everyone was a good sport about it. Everyone like gave me pointers on what to do, what not to do. And then that ever since then, I got hooked, and I've been getting booked left and right ever since. I've enjoyed this sport. I learned from the best. I continue to learn. So that's needless to say, the first match definitely will make and break you. And fortunately for me, it made me more than break me.
Awesome. Awesome. So we've heard about the first one. Now, if you can narrow it down, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of so far.
Oh, that's definitely a tough one because there's been a lot of great matches I've done that I've worked with. There was one I had my very, very last match before I took my break was against Ray DeForce Bettis out in Victoria. There was the one of the tag team matches I did with Bear County Bastard against Most Wanted. There was a fatal four-way match I did out in King out of Corpus against Little Poppy, Alex Ray, and Sacred Dragon. That was a good one. The triple threat I had in Laredo against Marcus Ray and Gavin Young or Gavin Ace now. There's just a whole like a top 10 list I can make of the matches I've done that makes me go back and go, wow, we really did that match. We really had fun. We did it. And there's one I had with Sal Ochoa, the Mad Dog out in Corpus. Like there's just a whole like variety I could choose from. But there is one in particular that I really do enjoy and I watch back to this day. It's it's the triple threat I mentioned, me versus Gavin versus Marcus. Because I felt at that time we were all still developing in our way, but we did manage to make a classic. Like Gavin did a suicide dive out the ring. I did a double Samoan drop on both of them. They did a superplex on me. Like it was just my personal opinion, that was a good match to bring up.
Gotcha. So you've been doing this long enough now that I'm sure you've developed some of these. And I always ask, what is your biggest wrestling pet peeve?
And they may say it's a small one, but really it's like keeping your gear washed and clean. Because I can't tell you how many wrestlers I've met that have dirty gear and I can smell it from a mile away, even in match. Big thing for me is politics. I hate when people try and politic their way into like getting what they want, and especially to like people and new into this who try to like weasel their way into like making them look good in front of you. Is just that's one of them. I guess that's virtually it. Is keeping your gear clean and keeping yourself clean too, because we're like face to face bases right here, and I'm here smelling what you wrestled in for the past 3 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one of them. Yeah.
I know what you mean, but several years ago, for a number of years, I trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there was always one guy who wouldn't wash his gi, and it just starts to have this funk to it.
Yes.
It's just like
and then
come
when
on,
you're
guy.
when you're working with them, and now you smell that funk too. So
yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Clean your gear.
yes.
I mean, so if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
Now, see, that's a tough thing to call because there are some out there that are fantastic in the ring, but are terrible on the mic. Now, there's some who are good on the mic, but terrible in the ring. So, it's tough to be either or because you can be like Ricochet, for example. He's fantastic in the ring, but he is terrible on the mic. Like he can't cut a promo to save his life. And I'm a fan of Ricochet, but there are days where like, bro, like learn to cut a promo and then kick ass in the ring. You know what I mean? That's my biggest thing with him is that he is fantastic, very agile, very high flying, energetic, but his promo and mic skills are just not there. But then there are some who are fortunate enough to be both. Like Miz, for example, is both good on the mic and good in the ring. So there are some who carry both of those respective attributes. And thankfully,
Right.
I'm somewhat decent in the ring. I'm really good in the mic at times, but it's just it's just like you can't be one without the other. Pretty much, you can be great in the ring, but you have terrible mic skills or good mic skills, bad in the ring. It feels like you have to have both in order to succeed in this business.
Right. Right. One thing I will say, kind of in Ricochet's defense, is this recent run that he's having in AEW right now. His mic skills are actually improving. I don't know if you've seen much of that.
I'm not really much of an AEW guy, so I really haven't had time to actually sit down and watch. It's not, and don't get me wrong, it's not because I don't believe in them. It's just that
Right.
I'm more a WWE guy. That's just how I am. I've
that's
watched
fine.
WWE, so I never been. I mean, I'm not shit on AEW. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I
Yeah.
will joke about it on occasion, like, oh, all empty wrestling, just something like just to have a good laugh or two. But I won't openly shit on AEW. That's just not me, though. I mean, they're killing it on their own. They have their wrestlers, they have their best, they have their worst. So,
yep.
I even had somebody in my friend group tell me that AEW is a glorified indie show, and I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, not really. They're on TV. They have some big names on there, so I really can't say they're an indie show. But I mean, to each their own, I guess, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So, in terms of your in-ring work and your promos, who or what would you say are some of your influences? Who has helped to kind of shape you into the performer that you are?
I would say professionally, I would say wrestling wise, it'd be either Samoa Joe, it would be I would say Kane because of our size. I'm a big dude, so I like big power moves. So I would say Samoa Joe, Kane, Umaga. I did try a little high flying, Jeff Hardy, Swanton, on rare occasion. I don't really do much anymore. What else is like when it comes to promo wise, I would say the Miz, Samoa Joe again. He's really good on the mic too. MJF, the John Cena is definitely good on the mic. That's where that will inspire me for the mic and everything. And plus, he's a rapper too, so I can get behind that. The Rock, especially LA Knight. If I think off the top of my head, those are the ones that really inspired me pretty much.
Gotcha. So, during the time that you have been doing this, what has been the most unusual encounter you've had with a fan?
If I'm being honest, I haven't really had what is it? What I would say uncomfortable moment with a fan, or was it?
Just your most unusual encounter with a fan. Yeah.
I don't think I've had an unusual encounter. Most interactions I've had with fans are fantastic. Like youngsters will walk up and tell me a good job, or they want pictures, or hold my titles. Like I never really had a unusual fan. And not the top of my head, because like every single interaction I had, they were great. I never had no fan to, I never had those ones that would try to like fight me for real. I never had one of those. Never had ones that go in the ring. Like I said, I never really had an unusual fan interaction. I mean, I'm not saying I'm immune to that, but you never know.
Gotcha. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? Is there a match that just really speaks to you, that you just find yourself kind of gravitating back to?
I still watch it to this day, and this is the match I will share to anyone who wants to get into wrestling or WWE in general. It will be Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. For the simple fact is that match had everyone on their feet the entire time, and I was there too. Um, great storytelling, great like spots. Um, it's just overall that match is just so gravitating everywhere I go. Like, hey, what's your favorite match, or who do you watch for this? It's just that match. I will say right to the T. That match is like top 5 easily. I'll show you. And if you think that one was good, the next year's match was even better. But 25 in general, that one was like the match I will always watch. Even like when I'm at work or at home watching TV, I'll just pull up the match and just like, wow, I was there for that match. I still can't believe it, you know?
Yep. So, piggybacking onto that question, do you have an all-time favorite promo as a fan?
Let me see, because there is actually a couple that sticks with me to this day. It's not so much a promo, but it's I think it was during a backstage segment. It was during Talking Smack when they had that show going on during 2017 or 6. I forgot what year, or I forgot what year it was, but it was during the segment with Daniel Bryan and The Miz. How Daniel Bryan was criticizing The Miz for being safe in the ring, and The Miz just took off on Daniel Bryan. Now, I wouldn't say that's a promo; it was a segment, but just the way he was so like he was triggered, but also he was showing his passion for what he does. So that's why he'll forever have my respect for that. As for promo, like actually wrestling promo, um, I would say the pipe bomb that CM Punk did years ago. That forever stuck with me, you know, and it's still talked about to this day. Like that's how shows you how good it was.
Gotcha. Well, going back to favorite matches, you were mentioning that you're a Samoa Joe guy. One of my favorite matches of all time is still the old Samoa Joe versus Necro Butcher back on the Indies. I mean, just a brutal match. I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that one is not for the faint of heart. I mean, that
Yeah.
is that is an absolutely killer match. I mean,
And I actually met Necro Butcher one time. Actually,
really,
it was out on the radio show one time. Really cool guy. Really, was honored to meet him.
Nice. So, as things stand at this moment, in your opinion, who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the world? Who's the best man and who's the best woman?
And now, see, that is very tough to say because WWE right now has some of the best talent as of right now. When it comes to the popularity wise, mic wise, wrestling wise, it's very tough to call. But I will say, and I'm confidently will say this, Braun Breaker is definitely one of them. Mic wise, I would say LA Knight. I said Braun Breaker, LA Knight. As for the males, now if we're talking about like modern or like past, present, future, or like just overall, like we're just modern wrestlers.
Well, we're basically talking at this moment.
At this moment, okay.
At this moment, who's the best man and who's the best woman?
Right now, I would say Braun Breaker because he's making waves right now. Strong, very agile, and very, very, very unpredictable. Very unpredictable at the moment. That's kind of why I feel I'm still a fan, even when he was in NXT and then went to the main roster. Woman wise, I would say, and I'm a huge fan of her too, which is crazy. And I hate that they aren't pushing her as much. Well, I think now recently it's Maxine Dupree because she went from being a total goof now to being serious. Now she's IC champion. So she's definitely up there. It was Lyra for a while, but she's doing this weird thing with Bailey with this friendship thing going on, and I just don't know why they're not, putting her up there. Roxanne Perez only because she's Texas native, so I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely respect her for that. Like, and that's why, like, if I had to pick those three, I would say either it's Roxanne, definitely Roxanne.
Gotcha. So, and this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent for you? Who would you absolutely love to have the opportunity to share a ring with?
Braun Breaker, easily, because we both do the spear. Um, it's just like I've always wanted to face any type of the Steiners, but Braun Breaker, and I hope to. I'm still praying on it that I do eventually get into WWE and do work with Braun Breaker. He's definitely one of them. A dream match that I would love to compete. Even if he utter destroys me, I don't care. I get to work with him. So
yeah. It's funny. My wife is a relatively new wrestling fan, and a few weeks ago when Breaker cut that promo on Raw,
yep.
We were watching it, and when it was over, my wife turns to me and she said, "The whole time sitting there, I was just absolutely terrified that man was going to have a stroke." I mean, so at that point, I had to take her down the rabbit hole and show her some of Scott Steiner's old promos, and I was like, "This is where he gets it from." And she goes, "Okay, he's definitely a Steiner."
He's definitely a Steiner. There ain't no question about it.
Yeah. And what was interesting is, a couple of days ago on Raw, Punk finally got to have his rebuttal, and I felt like it fell kind of flat. I mean, I've got to say, Breaker has gotten the best of things so far in this exchange he's got going with Punk.
Which is crazy because CM Punk is good on the mic. There's no question about it. But lately, it just feels like Braun is just getting one step ahead of him.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where things are going with all of this. It's definitely an intriguing time in the business. I feel like a lot of stuff is in transition right now. So what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would at least rather not do? And that can be giving or receiving.
So the move I like doing, and it's only because I'm a huge fan of them, it's the Swanton Bomb. Only because, like I said, as kids, me and my cousins would just jump from the pool doing Swanton bombs and flips and all that different stuff. So being able to do in the ring was definitely a fun time. And plus it gave the crowd like something to pop for. Like I can't tell you how many times I did the Swanton and people just go completely nuts for it. And then, they pull me to the side and says, "Well, you're a big guy. You shouldn't be doing that." I said, "Well, that may be true, but I've seen people who are bigger than me doing the Swanton and they're able to continue on doing it." But don't get me wrong. Like I said, I know I'm a big guy. So it's kind of why I'm kind of like slowly moving from that into the spear, which is, simple yet effective move. And it still gives a good pop, As for the moves, I will never receive or do. I actually made a video about this on my Instagram that has nearly 220,000 views on Instagram. So I have a video that actually explains that. But I will say on here again, I won't do the Muscle Buster. I won't do the Canadian Destroyer. I won't do any type of pile driver. And I've gotten comments on that video saying, "Oh, they're all safe. They can be done." No, the thing is, they can be safe, but there runs the risk of people getting hurt. And I don't want to be that risk and be a reason why someone's not wrestling anymore, or have a reason I can't wrestle anymore because of those moves. That's what fans don't understand. That yeah, they can be performed safely, but there's always that risk that it could go wrong and someone could get hurt, and I could be that reason for that. And the reason why, and there's the interview that Samoa Joe did about talking about that muscle buster he did to Tyson Kidd, and that will forever stick with me. Like, they can be the safest dudes out there, and there could be still a possibility that you could either be paralyzed or hurt. And I refuse to be that person to either have someone not wrestle anymore. I don't want that guilt. I don't want that guilt to live with me.
Right. You know, as a fan, a move that I always kind of get just a sick feeling in my stomach when I see it being set up for is the vertebreaker. That move just always looks like there are so many ways it could go catastrophically wrong. You know, so I mean, you don't see it much anymore, which I think is a good thing. I remember back during the Monday Night Wars, specifically on the WCW side, they were throwing vertebreakers around like it was candy. I mean, you know, now, like I said, I think the last time I remember seeing a vertebraker was Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul. And you know, Cody is somebody I would trust to do it safely, but even so, I just don't like seeing that move being set up for, because I'm always just like, just please don't die. You know, So, what would you say during your time in the business? What would you say is the worst bump you have taken?
Worst bump I've taken?
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a worst. I mean, besides like there was a nasty one I took out in Ingleside. Me and my opponent were doing the Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton spot for Royal Rumble, where they both get out, and we both unfortunately took a nasty fall outside, and I landed right here on the back of my neck. I mean, the superplexes can be a bad bump if done wrong, but lately I've been taking them and they've just been fine with me ever since. But I will say probably that Ingleside falling outside of the ring one could have been my bad bump. I mean, it nearly broke my neck. So,
yeah. So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling? You had mentioned earlier that you like, you know, putting together stuff and that kind of thing. But what is your take on the role that it has come into as a promotional tool?
I think it's a really great tool to use because it puts out indie guys or local guys out there to people who love wrestling, but they want to see like more wrestlers outside of WWE, AEW, or anywhere that's not in the major promotions. But I will say that tool is like a double-edged sword, because now we got people who leak out stories, who leak out stuff for major promotions. And it sucks because we want to, as the fans, we want to be surprised by the next episode, what's going to happen. And now we got people out there who leak, oh, we got this going on for Monday Night Raw coming up. I'm like, well, why didn't you want to have us surprised for when it happens? You know what I mean? Or we got people who say we have someone coming back from injury to help dominate Mysterio. Like, I saw this thing where they mentioned Liv Morgan coming back at the at Survivor Series to help Dom win against John Cena. And I'm sitting there thinking, why spoil it for everybody? You know what I mean? Like, what's your goal here doing that? Because now you're killing off the surprise by doing that. So social media in wrestling can be a good tool to help local guys put their content out there for fans to find and then become a fan of, and then they'll push them to be bigger. But at the same time, it diminishes the bigger promotions putting out these shows by spoiling the surprise. You know what I mean? So,
Gotcha.
I will say social media is a great tool, but it can also be a what is it? A downside, pretty much.
Gotcha. So a couple of hot take questions. Um, what is your take on John Cena's retirement match? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Oh,
What were your thoughts on it?
I loved it. I will 100% say I loved it. I'm a huge fan of John Cena. Been since I watched him in 2007. Checked out all of everything, all his rap projects, everything. I'm a huge fan of regardless. So,
Mm-hmm.
and there are people are gonna come at me. Oh, it was a good match. It was a good ending. I don't care, bro. Like I am just happy that John Cena was able to retire in the ring against someone who's arguably the biggest heel right now in WWE, as of right now. Now, I like the match. I love the way that at the end he just gave up because now John Cena gave his all for so many years. Now it's just time for him to give it up. He's done.
Right.
What
Right.
what more could he possibly do in this business? 17-time champ, a Grand Slam champ, so many Make-A-Wish wishes. Like he's done so many things in this business. So what's there more to lose? Like he's done. So
Right.
him tapping out, it's a symbolic end to his career.
Right, right. You know, a lot of people seem to really take offense to the whole, the whole concept of him giving up. I mean, to me, he wasn't giving up; he was letting go.
That's what I'm saying.
Um,
Like
yeah,
it's more of letting go than giving up. Like he's done so much in WWE. Like what more could he get by winning?
right, right.
It
Agreed.
could have been a happy ending because they're gonna ride off in the sunset with the win. But I mean, what more could he have gotten by beating Gunther? It'll kill Gunther's like rise into WWE by doing that.
Right, right. So the other hot take question, what did you think about the reveal of Austin Theory as being the man in the mask the other night on Raw?
Definitely caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie. That definitely caught me off guard. Now, does he need it? Of course he does. Because at the moment, like back when he was tag teaming with I already done forgot his name already.
Oh,
Grayson Waller.
Grayson Waller, yeah.
There you go. That was an okay tag team. It wasn't, flashy. They won the tag titles, cool, but what's what was the whole point of that? You know what I mean? And then he got hurt. Grayson's off with the New Day, and he's just there. So that definitely caught me off guard of him being the masked man. Was I expecting it? No. Was I happy about it? It could be either or. Let's just see how it is next week because we just saw him reveal himself. But what's his intentions? Like what is he doing helping the division? So we won't know
Right,
for sure until how it's going to play out until next week.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, I had heard, a lot of rumors and such on the web, and the prevailing opinion was that it was going to be Austin Theory.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wasn't totally surprised. I was actually hoping that it was going to end up being Ethan Page.
Mm.
I think that would have been a cool introduction to the main roster for Ethan Page to end up being the guy in the mask. But all that being said, I don't have a problem with it being Austin Theory. I've always liked that kid, and I think him getting into this faction with those folks and with Heyman and with presumably some influence from Rollins and such. I think it's going to do nothing but good for his career. So I'm happy for him.
Oh, of course, yeah, I agree.
So knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Best advice I can give to my younger self would be stop messing up, pretty much, because I get it. When you're young, you feel you're on top of the world. You can do whatever you want, but eventually that train runs out. You're gonna face reality that you're not young anymore. You're not a kid anymore. You're an adult. You gotta figure your shit out. But I also will tell them is that if you have a dream or a passion, don't drop it for somebody. Don't give it up for someone that's not going to give up stuff for you. I've had it happen before. Well, I'll say I'll give up something, and it eventually just fell out. So if you have a dream or a passion, go for it with full force. Don't give it up for somebody.
Absolutely. So, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
Always a prayer. I always try and pray before a match or even before I get there. That's like the biggest thing for me is praying, because without him I wouldn't be here. Without him I wouldn't be here breathing. I wouldn't be a champion. I wouldn't be, doing this without him. So a prayer before a match, or even when I start the day, that's always going to be a pre-match ritual I always do.
Absolutely. So, kind of a quick rundown. What all do you carry in your gear bag, and do you carry anything unique or unusual in your gear?
First off is the gear, obviously. My shorts, my t-shirt for my merch, my undershirt, singlet, basically the what is it? The norm stuff. I do carry tape on me. As for unusual, it would probably be my ankle brace, because it reminds me to keep your ankles moving. Like, don't be careful with your ankles, because obviously they're important. My titles, if I have any on me. I carry a chain on me. It's like a silver chain. Kind of brings me good luck. Deodorant. Um, what else? Um, I think that's and I used to carry my shoes in there, but I carry a shoebox to carry my shoes. Um, I think that's virtually it, really.
Gotcha. So something we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. So my previous guest was actually a wrestler from over in the UK, over in England,
Mm-hmm.
and the by the name of Big Deal Dante.
Mm-hmm.
And the question that he posed is there anything that you have learned so far in wrestling that has helped you in life in general?
There has been there's always be coachable. Um, always listen, because you never know what can be important for the next time around. Um, always be cordial, always be respectful. Um, never let your ego get in the way, pretty much. That's a big one. Never let your ego get in the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and we can all be our own worst enemy.
Yes, of course.
So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to pose to the next guest?
Let me see.
If you can't come up with anything, you can always DM me with something later if anything occurs to you.
I got one.
Okay.
Do you so the question I posed to the next one, are you happy with starting wrestling at your current age, or do you wish to go back a few years to start?
That's actually a really good question. How would you answer that?
Honestly, I would love to start a lot more sooner than I did because I'm 29 years. I was 29 when I started. I'm 31 now, and there are people that I actually posted something on my Instagram about like I forgot what I posted. It was something about do you think 21 or 22 or even 25 is too late to start wrestling? I'm sitting here thinking, bro, I started at 29 and I'm 31. So if I can do it, I'm pretty sure you can do it. You got plenty of life on you. Your body's still healthy. So the earliest, the better you can do. I've seen people like there's a youngster out of the dojo. He's really young. He's out training with us right now. So very young age too. So, and I always tell them like it doesn't matter what age you are. Like maybe if you're in your late 40s, 50s, maybe that would be a tough time to start. I mean, that's just me though. But um, if you're somewhere between the ages of 18 to 25, you're set, you're golden. 25, 29, 30, maybe, you're off to a rough start, but if you're doing it, you're doing great. That's just my opinion, though. I would love to have started around probably halfway through my music career, probably 5 years ago, to see how far I would have gotten now. But I'm good where I started at. And I started pretty fast, too.
Oh yeah, and I mean really it's just a matter of kind of blooming where you're planted and knowing that you're where you're supposed to be at any given moment.
Of course. And I've always had people tell me that I've reached my prime age. So I think I started correctly if I say so myself. Like as I'm
Right.
31 now, I started at 29, so I'm at the prime of my life, and so be it.
Right. And you've also got to look at somebody like Diamond Dallas Page. He started in the business considerably older than most people, and he had a great career, and I dare say he is having an even more important impact on the business doing what he's doing now.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So we're getting pretty much to the end of things now. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
Like I said I don't want to spoil it too much because I want to wait till next year. But all I
Of
can
course.
say is to those who are really watching this live feed, just know next year it's going to be fractured. That's all I can say.
That's exciting, man. I'm definitely looking forward to keeping an eye on things and being along for the ride. This it sounds like some fun is coming.
It's going to be fun, all right. Just not for my opponents.
Nice, nice. Well, as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, tomorrow night, Thursday the 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 184, and our guest is another Texas-based pro wrestler, Aries Alexander. I don't know if you've had any encounters with him.
I did, yeah. I've ran into him on a couple occasions.
Got you. And then on Friday the 19th, also 7 p.m. Eastern, episode 185, yet another Texas-based wrestler, the Passionate One, Jonathan Life. Another one I don't know if you've had any encounters with.
I did actually, yeah. He's cool. I met him.
Got you. So those are the next few. I'm actually after the beginning of next week, the show is actually going to go on hiatus until after the first of the year. With the holidays and everything, everybody's just getting busy, and it's just kind of a time to recharge and all of that. But I'm actually booked for the most part pretty much through the month of January. So that there's definitely some exciting stuff coming on our front. And so definitely, keep an eye on my socials and all that good stuff. And I'll just tell you some really cool stuff is coming.
Yeah, hell
Uh,
yeah.
so, before we wrap all of this up, do you have any final words for the audience, CJ?
Those of you who doubted what I got coming along, just know you better be on the receiving end of it, because I will say what I got planned is a lot better what I did last year. And honestly, people who told me it wasn't going to work, or people told me that it wasn't going to be good, I will just say right now, just wait till you see. Don't judge on it based off a couple of teachers I posted, because it's a lot more bigger than you think. That's all I can say.
Gotcha. Well, I just want to say thank you for your time, CJ. This has really been a pleasure. And as far as for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, definitely do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern with Aries Alexander, be good to each other, love each other, and let's keep throwing down.
Mm-hmm.